It all begins in a barren desert, where a lone child stumbles along, gnawing on a human finger as he searches for his mother. A few miles away, a car drives down a road that abruptly ends in the desert. The driver, Wyndham, a photographer, steps out and continues on foot. He has come to capture the solar eclipse and, after taking a few photos, realizes the day is ending and heads back to his car. But he unexpectedly encounters the lost boy, who seems frightened. Ready to help, Wyndham approaches, but the boy points in the direction he last saw his parents and walks away. Determined to assist, Wyndham follows, but the boy coldly rejects his support, leaving Wyndham alone as night falls. As darkness envelops the desert, Wyndham lies down on the ground, reliving the day's events, unable to sleep. Suddenly, he hears strange chimes in the air. Following the sounds, he discovers stakes strung with ropes holding bottles that produce a haunting melody. In the distance, he spots a large canyon with a wooden house at its base and a woman wandering around it singing softly. He calls out for help, but she enters the house, ignoring his pleas. Finding an iron ladder leading halfway down the canyon, Wyndham begins his descent. When the iron ladder ends, he transitions to a rope ladder, reaching the bottom safely. Approaching the house, he knocks persistently but gets no answer. Finally, he opens the door himself and steps inside. The woman, Alina, is calm, almost as if expecting him. She offers him dinner, and although he initially refuses, she places soup before him. Grateful for her hospitality, Wyndham asks her about leaving this strange place and mentions the boy he saw earlier. Alina suggests he rest until morning, and he accepts, lying down on the bed she provides. The next morning, when he tries to leave, Wyndham notices the rope ladder has vanished, making it impossible to reach the iron ladder above. Resigned, he takes out his camera, photographing the eerie canyon walls that seem to symbolize death. Spotting Alina on the roof, he questions her about the ladder, but she either doesn't understand or is unwilling to explain. Her vague responses hint that others live nearby, but she reveals little. Frustrated, Wyndham explores the canyon, periodically shouting for help. Eventually, Alina insists on washing his clothes, saying he can't return home so dirty. With no other choice, he agrees. That night, he struggles to sleep and ventures outside again, still unable to find a way out. The following morning, he discovers a hammer and tries climbing the canyon wall, only to lose his balance when a dead chicken falls from above. Wyndham awakens with an injured leg, and Alina tends to him. Though she evades his questions about the children he glimpsed on the cliff. As days blur together, Wyndham, plagued by fever, struggles to distinguish reality from delirium, convinced he's seeing children watching him. When he recovers, he demands Alina tell the children above to pull him up, but she evades his pleas, urging him instead to stay. Wyndham, insisting on leaving, checks his leg and realizes he won't be fully mobile for a long time. Suddenly, he hears voices from above. The boy from before appears, with a little girl by his side, offering to help. The boy promises to bring a rope and pull him up, asking Wyndham his favorite color. Surprised, Wyndham replies red and urges them to hurry. A rope soon falls and Wyndham secures himself, eager for freedom. But halfway up, the rope stops. As he hangs helpless, he sees the boy mockingly spray him with water, joined by other children dressed in mismatched clothes, taunting him and swinging the rope until he slams into the canyon wall. After regaining consciousness, Wyndham finds himself back in Alina's care. He asks her about the children, but she only explains that they are orphans surviving in the desert. Wyndham, however, senses a deeper mystery. One night he hears voices outside, and Alina warns him not to go out when the children act strangely. Ignoring her, he steps outside and is confronted by the children, who push and jeer at him before disappearing into the darkness. When he confronts Alina, demanding answers, she remains calm, implying she's trapped as well, but refusing to elaborate. Time passes, and Wyndham reluctantly settles into this isolated life. Alina reveals that she's expecting his child, news that shocks and unsettles him. Though he never wanted a family here, he resigns himself to his fate, even helping her replant a garden that local birds had destroyed. One evening, the boy visits again, this time curious about Wyndham's plans. Wyndham hopes the boy might bring a doctor for Alina and offers to take them all to the city. But Alina, puzzled, questions what he's truly missing in the desert. Wyndham speaks of freedom, the ocean, and even a cheeseburger, things Alina can't comprehend. Showing her his photographs, she seems more captivated by a random picture of his car than by the eclipse he'd come to document. The days stretch on. Wyndham's nightmares worsen, haunted by faces of mocking children. One morning, he's horrified to find the boy crucified on wires above the canyon as other children laugh. Alina accuses Windham of killing her son and in a rage knocks him out. When Windham awakens, he's in a cage. Alina has no intention of releasing him and even feeds him like an animal while the children watch his suffering. One day, a girl from the outside notices him and he quietly begs her to get help. She promises to return but is soon captured and killed by the children. Trapped and defeated, Windham pleads with Alina, saying he's ready to accept her and stay forever, hoping to raise their child together. Alina, laughing, dismisses him as nothing more than a pawn, his purpose now fulfilled. Finally, as Alina goes into labor, she releases him to help. Exhausted, Windham assists in the birth, cradling the baby girl under the eclipse. But Alina, taking the child, ominously declares that their daughter will someday replace her as mother. Suddenly, Windham feels a sharp pain as the boy slices his throat, muttering that he's doing it for the mother. Later, Alina calmly gathers Windham's belongings, promising her daughter that all will be well. In the end, Windham's body decays in the yard, returning to the desert. Thus concludes this haunting and unusual film.